Okay, let us pray. Dear God, we thank you that today we come again to learn about how to build your church and how to serve your people. I pray that you give us the wisdom, the understanding, and help us to learn more so we can be better servant of yours. Pray for friends who are so busy today preparing church, get ready for Christmas in their church. Be with them and bless them too. We thank you for everything in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Tonight we talk about the Gulf Urban Center. A lot of minority, or you might call cultural church, are in big city. Why? A lot of them come to big city looking for job, looking for new life. When they immigrate to America, they live in big city most of the time. Why? Because they have all the services that they need help. Housing, education, government support, all the social agency are in big city. So this is a lot of ethnic group or cultural group are in big city all over America. You talk about New York, you talk about Los Angeles, San Francisco Bay Area, or other big city. Now, some immigrant might end up in some other smaller center. Why? Because the agency that sponsor them bring them there and hope that they can help that group, that city to grow because the new immigrants are young and they will learn and they will do any job. So some big city invest on a lot of immigrants, try to get them there to help. But anyway, we found out that majority of ethnic cultural group who came in the last 50 years to America, most of them from Asia. Some might from Africa. But it different from 100 or 150 years ago, all the immigrants from Europe. So they concentrate on the East Coast, like in New York, Washington, D.C., all those areas. But now you see that the new immigrant in the past 50 years, mostly from Asia, will concentrate on the West Coast, from California mainly. They might spread out to Oregon or Washington or Idaho, some. But most of them still in California. Now, they might move somewhere because some other big city have better chance for them to get job or cheaper housing. That's why some immigrants move away. But wherever they go in any state, they still concentrate in big city. And I say that because big city have more services and more opportunity for them to find work or school. And a lot of them concentrate with big city because of all the organization have all the services that they need help. So this is how the ethnic churches are in big city and might call urban city, not in the rural, because they cannot survive there. So when we talk about city, we talk about the place that have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or a million of people. We don't talk about a few thousand people. We talk about hundreds of thousands or millions of people. So when the immigrant or the cultural people who move to America, they mostly concentrate together in some area. Why? Because they need help and they need to help one another. And because of their languages and their culture, they concentrate in group to help one another. And they socialize among themselves. When we talk about the first generation, it's always that way. But now, after 40, 50 years, we have the second generation and the third generation, and they are more American. They speak fluently English, and a lot of them don't speak their parent language now. So they can work anywhere, they can move anywhere. But we found out that, as we talked before, some immigrants come from strong cultural background. So they're going to keep their culture for many generations. But some we call the soft culture. They lose their identity so quick in one generation. But anyway, the language is the first that goes. You talk about the second generation on any group, they don't speak their parent language anymore. Because language is something you need to use every day to keep it. When you don't use it every day, you lose it. So the second generation will lose the language of their parents. But some group will keep their culture many more years. Some group will also lose their culture real quick. Now you talk about the Bible. You see that the big city church in Jesus' time or in the apostle time is one church in Jerusalem. And they're happy there until God spread them out. Well, we have many reasons that why God spread them out, because Jesus told them already that he wants them to go all over the world to preach the good news. So in the old time, we have Jerusalem is a big center for the churches. And in the past, we talk about Babylon. Babylon is another big center. It's more what we talk about the non-believer center. Jerusalem, you might call the believer center. But the young people will move everywhere for job, for friend, for family. The young people, the second, the third generation will move anywhere. But still, we have the first generation will live a long time, maybe 50, 60, 70 years. It depends how, when they came to America. And a lot of them going to be alien forever. The word alien is just mean immigrant. Sometimes we don't like to use this word because nowadays we talk about alien from another star, another world. But in the past, legally, we call anyone who came from another country to live in America. The legal term is alien. Someone that's not native, someone that come from another place. Now, Jesus told his disciples, go all over the world to preach the good news. So there are two ways. First, you go out to preach to them. Another them, they come in and you preach to them. So it's both ways. In the past, you need to send missionaries all over the world to preach the good news to them. But today, a lot of the world moved to America. So you can wait here and preach to them because they come to you. And you can preach the good news to them. And it's not just one group, it's all over the world, hundreds of countries. Try to come to America every day, millions of them. So in fact, America itself is the mission field now. You don't need to travel to another country in the world. You wait in America, they come to you. So this is the work. All over the world can mean it's just your next door. You don't need to go far. And you can be missionary even in America. Especially, we talk a lot more about big city. A lot of immigrants will end up in big city. And we already talk about because of health, because of opportunity, or the support in big city. If they move out to the rural, they don't have family, they don't have friends, they don't have job, they don't have school, they don't have all the support. So you see that it ends up that everything will work out in big city. You might call urban mission. The whole world come to America. And this is the mission field. You can go to any big city. For example, you go to Los Angeles or San Francisco. You can visit a public school, and you find out that each public school in San Francisco or in Los Angeles have students who come from at least 50 to 100 countries in one school. Unbelievable. But that's the fact. That's the fact. So it means that the mission field is there in big city, everywhere. Okay, here you look at the big city, like in 1950 in New York and London. And in that 70 years ago, only two big cities have 10 million people. But today, at least 20 big cities have more than 10 million people. So you mean that all the cities all over the world get bigger, more people move in. So now why people move into big city? We already say that because of opportunity, job, future, career, friend, family, all the support. And all the young people love big city because they have all the fun in big city. What you have in the rural? Nothing much. Unless you love the nature. But if you're looking for job, you're looking for family and excitement, only big city offer that. Now, it's just a new study coming out that America today have two options. They can live in the big city in all kind of housing that government build for them, and they don't need a car. They can walk to everywhere because they make a big city walkable. Mean that in 5 to 10 minutes of walking, you have everything: bank, shopping mall, park, and even job. Walking in 5 and 10 minutes, you have everything. The new city that they want to build in America is that way, walkable city. But you have to live in condo, housing that 10, 20, 30 story, compact. And they offer this idea to most Americans. You know what happened in America? Most Americans say no, they don't want to live in this way. They better drive 1 hour, 2 hours to work, to shop, and live far away from one another. This is American fabric. They don't mind driving 1, 2, 3 hours a day to work or to shop or to go anywhere. Instead of walk 5 or 10 minutes, most Americans don't want to walk. They want to drive. That's very weird. You might think that why, if you have an option to walk 5 minutes to work, to park, to shop, to see your friend, why don't you choose that 5 minute walking instead of 2 hour driving? Why? We can talk about that and think that you are more American or still more Asian in some way. But big city going to be with us, especially in America. And the need is still always there. Now we talk about the church in big city. Since big city have so many kind of people, all kind of people. And if you want to build a church in big city, we talk about contextualized or multicultural church that will help everyone. How you build a church that welcome all nation, all language, all culture, and how you make people feel comfortable sitting with you in one church that have all different kind of people. Now, let us look at some of the successful multicultural church in America, what they have. First, church leaders need to have education, training, to be sensitive to different culture. First, all the leaders need to have training or knowledge. Now, what the second thing? The second thing we found out that most of the training we give to missionary or to church leader did not prepare them for multicultural church. All the school that train leader just train them to work with one group of people. So new school need to equip new leaders, train them to work with all kind of different people and all kind of different kind of job that people have different lifestyle. Now, the third fact that we found out in most American churches is most American churches you might call middle class churches, mean that the high classes don't go to church or the very low classes don't have a lot of churches. And most of churches in America are middle class. Well, people say that that is a fact because most Americans are middle class anyway. Very few people are poor because the government support them. Or not many people are so super rich because the government will tax them to death. So majority of people in America we might call middle class or upper middle or lower middle class, mean that most of us have similar income or job. So the churches work mainly with this group of people. So the church not equipped to work with very super rich or super poor because they not get training. They don't know a lot of people in that way. But compare urban churches and big city church, they are different. Because the urban church, big city church is the church that deal with all kind of people. They need to be very active and flexible. But the rural church, the church in out of the big city, can work just with some group of people, middle class, white, or certain group of people, and they can function that way. It's so different from church in the big city that you need to be very flexible and adapt all the time. Now, why we compare big city church and the church in America mostly? Because this is something that in the future we're going to have more of big city churches. Why? We already mentioned that a lot of new generation people love to live in big city because of all the fun, all the convenience that they love. So young people will move to big city more, and all kind of them. So the church need to adjust to work with them, how to work with young new generation with all kind of background, culture. This is something we're going to talk about. And here is more idea that I presented to you from different preachers who try to work with when many group of people before us. And we talk about some group of Christians, like the group we call the gospel movement, or the group that try to reach out to young people in big city. Oh, they do some very successful work because they present them with music and with all the worship style, like they go to concert. It means that they have free music. And the preacher will preach about prosperity gospel to them. So it makes them feel good. And a lot of young people love this kind of preaching, or you might call worshiping. So this is the new movement that's going on with all the big church that working with new generation of people. Okay, I want you to concentrate on this section and we can discuss more. Here the advice, if you want your church to be multicultural or the church that reach out to all kind of people, this is some suggestion that you need to work with your people. First, make that intentional space, mean that you need to intend to make people feel comfortable. This is the church for them too, not just for one group of people, but for everyone who want to come. But in the same time, you will have a special group for the need, like you want to work with Chinese, you want to work with Filipino or Thai or Mien. You have the group that they can join. In your big church, you have small group. So the success of the big church is you need to have many small groups to meet different group of needs available for them to join. In the big church, but in the big church, worship is a kind of concert. Thousands of people can join together in a big concert room. But when you have Bible study or some kind of training, you need to have many choices for small group. And in the worship style of music, well, they love the contemporary style for young people, upbeat, and you add a lot of variety on that to make people feel good about many different style of worship. And another church can do it like they have 2, 3, or 4, or 5 different service with different style of music for different group of people. So if big city church, you can offer that, like morning service, afternoon service, evening service with different style of worship. And even sometimes different cultural music that concentrate on some other big minority group on different time or different group. And you can work with different group that join your church, support them on their cultural and help them reach out to their people. Now you see that you can be one big church, but have many small other groups inside your church. But in order to be successful, you need to work hard. But a lot of us feel that it's a lot of work, too much. We just want one group of people. As we are today, we still can do that, but we talk about 10 years, 20 years from now, we might have to find a different option to survive or to reach out to many other group of people, or at least our young generation, how we keep them, how we change ourselves, adapt ourselves for the need of our second or third generation. I don't know, you ever think about 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years from now, what will happen to your church, to your people, to your children, or grandchildren generation? Okay, I will stop here a little bit, and before we come back to finish the lecture. Okay, that I already say that this is more about our future option. How you think about the future of your church? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now?
I have no idea. I don't have a church yet. I mean, in terms of building, having one, that's it's up to God. But I think if I do, I like to see that have a big church. I like to see that God will bless with a big church. And big church is not necessarily feel good church. Like the church that we have in Memphis, it's a ginormous church, but they are very stick with the word of God. It's not a feel good church. When time to talk about something that the member might not like, but they're still preaching it according to the word.
Well, compare that church to First Baptist Church in Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, what about it?
What the difference? Mean that it's Charles Stanley in your state?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he in Tennessee. Is that in your state?
Yeah, Tennessee is in my state, but I don't know who that pastor is.
Oh.
I don't think it necessarily big church or small church. It really depends on the pastor. I always cautious about the pastor. We have to be careful with the church. Doesn't matter big or small. Pastors sometimes they will use a tactic try to draw in people by the they don't. I think that a lot of preachers believe in their own ability instead of believe in the word of God.
Okay, when you see the congregation, what is the percentage of each group? White, black, Asian, Spanish?
Well, my church that I go to probably 60% white, 30% black, and maybe 40% other race. And we don't have a division in terms of black, white, or Asian. People are quite commingle very well.
I thought you said you don't have a church.
Probably 50% white and 30% black and maybe 20% other races, because that's how the ethnic make up around here.
Okay, that's pretty good mix. But when we talk more, we find out that although churches still consider white, lead by white leadership, white pastor, white culture and theology all. So that is the good start, but it cannot end there. We talked last week about American Christianity. It's not fully Christianity.
And my church, we speak very clear that the church is not all about American. And American, even the pastor said America is not a Christianity country. It's a pagan country now. And pastor also say that Jesus is not American. So we should not try to be American Christian. We try to be Jesus Christian.
Yeah, that's correct. But to speak and to do it, it's two different things. So that's why we try to find out and how to make ourselves the right church for everyone.
as long as we are human, we always bias, Ajahn. Doesn't matter how
Yes,
try.
you're right. So the purpose of this class is try to find out what we need to change or what we need to prepare for the future. So what we're doing is just something we have been doing for a long time. And it worked in the past, but we don't know for the future. That's why we try to find out what is the best thing we have to do for the future that's coming. Some students ask me why we worry now. Just wait until it comes. Future will come anyway. But still, if you can prepare some, I think it's still better than do nothing.
I think we're learning now, and then when they come, so we understand.
Mm,
They will come, but
mm.
we learn it right now, and we prepare for the future when they come, and we know.
So I think it's a good attitude, good idea that at least we know about what will happen and we try to do our best. It's like when we study the book of Revelation, a lot of people say, why talk about future since we cannot change anything? Well, God still wants us to know, and God still wants us to prepare.
Actually, we don't even know tomorrow what happened tomorrow.
Mm.
Only God planned for us.
You're right, we don't know exactly what will happen, but we know that tomorrow will come. That's what we know.
Yes, yes.
As I mentioned here, language will be gone in one generation. So our children generation will, if they live in America, will speak English, that's for sure. So you cannot deny that using English in your church is a must sooner or later. English is the language. But your culture can last a long time. So that the way of life for your second generation will last. It can be a good thing to keep your church, to keep it go on. But I still want to remind us that God doesn't want us just to keep culture, but to reach out to your culture, not to keep your culture at the church, but to use it to reach out to people who need support with your culture. So you see that for not for the sake of culture, but for the sake of the gospel, by using the culture to reach out to the people. That's the whole point.
Ajahn,
Yes.
yeah, I am thinking right now. So I look back to the Mien society's pretty little. So, but I look back to the 4, 5, or to 6,000 years. So, but up to now, we calculated from the China to all around the world, we might have more or less about 3 million people. We just talk about that. But it seems like, we're dying. Look like we have no more, Mian speaking from now, maybe about 50 years more. But how come we so survive so long from the 6,000 years up to now? So should we worry about it or just, prepare for it? That's all. I don't know.
You know that United Nations estimate that the group of language die off every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like in America, we know that a lot of Native American language die off. Dying off mean that the new generation don't speak their parent language, and the old one die off.
So, Achan, do you know how many how many races they already been die off? There's no more speaking their own language. Do you know?
We don't know exactly, but we know that many groups die off every year.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
heard the story that they always mention the last person who speak this language just die.
Mm. Now I got an idea now. Yes.
So it happened all the time. The language of minority will die off. You know that when they do the translation of the Bible, they say that there are more than 1,000 something of small language all over the world.
Oh, then one of Mian language might die off pretty soon. Then that will disappear. No more Mian, no more. That's
If you
why worry.
if you wanna preserve your language, I know how.
Even know how to speak Indian fully.
No, we're not gonna die pretty soon.
No, if you wanna preserve your
We
language,
still have a lot of in China, Hakao, in Vietnam.
You have
you have to
people in Laos.
the reason that the Mian or small group of people preserve their language for thousands of years because they're isolated in the mountain or in a small town somewhere that they don't have other languages that influence them. It's not like a only Mian. It's everything. Just like Lao will, if Lao people in America eventually will die off too because they have other languages that preferably use.
No, Chris, Laos still go for a long time because they still have their own country.
Yeah, but if you are in America,
You still have your own language, but we don't
No.
count the out of the country. We're counting inside the country.
well, in
Own
Laos,
country.
yes, it will survive in Laos, but not in America because we have a
Yeah, well, if we count America, it might die. Yeah.
same thing with Hmong and Mien. If they were in Laos, they will still be isolated in somewhere, so they still survive. If you want to put it that term, yes. But in America, they are not gonna survive.
You know
When we
what?
go to heaven, we speak Mien and Laos.
Yeah, that's right.
You see, for example, Mian people, they live in Laos, the majority, they speak Laos. In Thailand, they speak Thai language.
Well, they come
In America, English. In China, Chinese. And in Vietnam, and Vietnamese. And then we're gonna die off one day. I know that's my people sooner or later. That's why.
Well,
but only the language though. The people still survive. It just pass on the generation after generation. Only the language might die out, but not the genetically.
let me tell you another bad news.
Okay.
I went to the jungle, to the mountain top. Everyone have internet.
Yeah.
And they connect with the world. They all have Facebook. They all have TikTok or everything.
That's more advanced than our right here. They're more smarter than us.
So my point is they connect with the world. They're not in the jungle anymore.
Exactly. They are not in city, but they advance in the around the world already, Achan. You are right.
Yeah, that gonna really hurt it. Yeah,
That's going to kill them even faster.
yeah, because the young people will learn and adapt very quickly.
I
Yep.
don't believe that in Thailand on the mountain, people have Facebook, everything.
I
Wow.
cannot follow them too, Achan. Sometimes they might teaching me too.
Mhm.
When you get there and then you use smartphone, we not even know how to use TikTok. Oh, there's
Facebook is pretty bad. I mean, the influence are not good at all.
Well, all social media have bad influence.
They promote something that is not good for society.
Do you believe that they say that more than half of whatever you see in internet are fake?
Mhm.
How's this, Ajahn? Like for example, like a TikTok, right? In America, TikTok are pretty bad, but in China, TikTok are very good. It's because of the government control what can and cannot to put it on. And TikTok in America pretty much destroy the new generation. But TikTok in China is very educational.
Well, we have freedom,
Yep.
but now American government tried to ban TikTok. And they sued to Supreme Court. How can you ban us?
Well, TikTok is represent China, and China by the Chinese law that whatever technology and whatever information that belong to Chinese company belong to the government. That's a reason.
Well, we will see. But with TikTok or not, the whole world is under the power of new technology.
Achan, how can we do to use the you know what today's smart thing become about the Christian thing? How can we convert it to that way? And then they might, if they're interesting, and then whole world will become a you know what Christian.
It's a big war. You know, today we talk about AI, artificial intelligence. It's everywhere. And they can do almost anything. They learn very fast.
For example, me, I thought that is a good idea. We can have the Zoom open and then let it, you know, express all over the world. And then end up, Ajahn, I've been doing about over almost 4 years, 4.5 years. But I don't see that, you know what, my interest. I don't get it. I don't get the nothing. I just see the old face, you know, same day and same day, same one and same one. I don't get it improve. First, I think that this is my goal, that maybe God called me doing this way. But until now, I don't see that I can go far away. I just couple step only.
You know, we found out that internet just help open the door, but cannot replace the real work.
Now
Yeah.
I suspect that too, and then I will, you know, study and then look it over and over.
I think its other issue is this. The end of the world is near, and people are getting more and more stubborn. Their ear and eye are being closed. And just like when we look at it, right? For the Christmas, they will change the Christmas into the pagan holiday, but they do celebrate like a if like a the what's that called, the what was it ที่ว่า pumpkin น่ะ what is that
Oh,
Halloween
oh,
people hop in Halloween like crazy because our human nature is sinful. Anything that is against God is very easy for them to adopt. It's a human nature.
okay. We found out that after many years of internet, the third thing that we found a new technology that will help spread the good news. But in fact, not much. We found out that they repressed the church in many ways, and the church lost our way to reach out to people. A lot of people now prefer to sit at home in their bed and join the service, which cannot replace the real thing. And they have good excuse now. So how can you bring people out of their bedroom or their house to go to church again? A big percentage of American people now, so they don't go to church, but they say they join service through Zoom or all kind of social media. They don't go to church anymore. Well, it's more convenient, yes. It's necessary, yes, but it still cannot replace the real thing. For the last 30-something years, I teach on school to school, and all students have to come to see me from everywhere, spend the whole day, a week with me for 4 or 5 years. Now, so the students just sit in front of television and watch. And you ask them to come together sometime.
Some
Most of
people
them.
only listen to music. Oh, I mean, I listen the YouTube. Just to graduate, right? I think too easy, right, อาจารย์
But you see that it cannot replace the real thing, the real interaction or relationship. So it's getting worse. You know that when Jesus teaches the disciples, they stay with him 24 hours a day for 3.5 years, live together. And when we have one day a week school, we feel that it's not that good. But now we don't even have one. I don't know, like what we have nowadays to Zoom. How many percentage that you think that we have in real relationship? Well, people told me it depends on what the student join or participate in Zoom. Some really spend a lot of time get involved, but a lot of them, we don't know that they even listen or not.
Totally different, Ajahn. Because the real thing, I will test it already, and then the Zoom, it's been, over almost 5 years. Yeah, to me, real things better. Because, face to face, anything more clear. Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
compared
for
to,
example, for me, I can feel it. It's super different.
you get to meet your people for a few days. What the difference you feel to Zoom and to get together?
Yeah, but a classmate, we can shake hands together, we talk together, and that way it's more warm. Yeah.
Mm. Well, when we have Zoom, we think that it's just something that we need to have it for a short time.
But Ajahn, if some people they really don't have a time, they really want to learn, that's a good idea for them too, for those people. Yeah. They focus on after the lecture, they really read the lecture note, they do participate. If lazy people, for example, like me, Chan,
I think is this.
it's not good idea.
I think is the church have to do a better job in human resources. So that way, even though if they want to do the internet, that's fine. They can do the internet, but they will internally in their heart, they will know that they miss so much if the church doing that. If the church member, not the church itself, the first church member is the one that who can be personally connected. Because, but unfortunately, the church didn't do a good job on that because I experienced this myself. Every time I changing the church, I feel very disappointed because the church member people are not really spend their time to communicate with the new member, and it take me probably 6 months before I can settle down because it take my persistence instead of the instead of the instead of the passionate of the member that draw me in. I have to push myself into the member kind of thing. I don't know if you follow me or not.
Well, that's the fact. A lot of churches today selected people who they want to join them.
They don't really care who coming in the church. All they care is, hi, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. See you later at the church, and nobody really follow up or follow through. How are they really doing?
Well, I think that they care if they like you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's sad, but that's the fact, that's the truth.
Yeah.
We have to do a better job.
I think if that not the church itself, but the member teach the member to be more passionate and connect between the people, and then the internet cannot match the human connection. Because humans still human, we need that bond, we need a bond, we need connection.
You're right.
Just like watching the football game is not the same as going to the football. Watching the football game on the TV is not the same as going watching football in the stadium. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard people pay $10,000 to sit in that crowded stadium.
Exactly.
Done.
Yes.
And we talk about that American people, they're choosing to drive about 2 hours instead of inside the community. That way, the American culture, they dying off or what?
Well, you know that in the last 70 years, American changed a lot. In the past, American have a very close connected family relationship. But in the last 70 years, American changed. American separate themselves out from their family, from everyone. And they don't want to be close, like live with parents or live with their in-law or someone. They want to be far away by themselves.
Ajahn, is this for the situation or maybe the culture or what?
Well, it's something new in the last 70 years, but not 100 or 200 years ago is different. So in the last 70 years, American become something that very different from the past. We call individualistic, mean that it's all about myself. Myself come first.
When I see the big city, for example, Tokyo, Hong Kong, they live in a coffin room, okay? We call the coffin room. So the community, like Jan just let you know, talk about. So that way they do have that, like you know what, the supermarket or school or everything inside the community in the you know what the condo, whatever that, and with the hospital, everywhere just walk like you know what 10 minutes 5 minutes just walk around and then that society can be together like a church and that way. Oh,
You know that idea might work with a lot of Asian, but when you talk with white American Caucasian, forget it. They don't want it.
Thank you, John.
How you think about it? Why it? If you offer them, there are many studies in America that if the city go to build a new city with 5 minute walking, everything you have it. Most Americans say no, they don't want it. They prefer to drive 1 or 2 hours to shop, to school, to church, to work, and live far away from everyone in the big giant house. I don't know your children think that way, second generation. But if you can trade to move in that kind of city, will you do it? In 5 minute walk to everywhere.
Depends on situation only, John. I believe.
I think that a lot of us become American now.
We are American. I don't think so now. See, that's just how we are. You know what? It's American culture right now. We choose driving.
Never mind walking 5 minutes to wherever, John. Just from home to the mailbox, they drive the car.
That's why I see that we do. I talk about myself, okay? See, like you know, instead of save your time for accident or something, getting ticket or whatever, from my house to the supermarket, only 3 minute walk. So I just you know push the cart or whatever, a little wagon, whatever we buy from the supermarket or from the free market, whatever. I can go to store, but I choosing driving. You see, that's a house American culture. Now I don't know, John.
But remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. Meaning, if you don't use your leg, you might not be healthy enough to be able to walk on your leg.
That's why. See,
You don't use it, you lose it.
every day increase your medication.
Yep.
5 months, 6 months, one pill increase.
Yep. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's how the rule is. God made us, I think since Adam, what happened? Adam, God want us to work. If we don't work, somehow, some way, our life getting shorter.
Now you see that why all the cow cannot be successful in America, because the cow will build a community that everyone live together, share everything. It's against American idea. American doesn't like living together and share everything in a big family. No, American doesn't like that. But you look back at the early church, it's opposite from American culture. Okay, Nathan have to go now. Okay. So you know that the church in America have to adjust because it's against American culture.
What do you mean adjust in what way?
Mean that American will take part in church just sometime and not much. American might drop by at the church to enjoy sometime something, but they won't be a family of the church. And if you do that way, it will work with American people. But if you try to bring them together, like retreat or the seminar, many days together, it's not going to work with them. But if you make your church like a big concert to come once a week to have fun, they will come.
I have question. I think I mute myself. I couldn't unmute myself. So
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. You guys hear me? Anybody hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Yeah. I have question that when we talk about the early church, and we talk about when I look into the church that on the Pentecost day, why those people they were loving each other so much and they sell the belonging and give to each other. So our church this day we are different. So are we wrong or they wrong?
How you think? Who right, who wrong?
I don't know.
Well, I always say American culture is not Christian culture. But we always present American Christianity as the best, but in fact, it's not the best.
Ajahn,
Yeah.
don't it's always like that? Christian
No,
being influenced by whatever country or culture that they're at. If it's in Jewish, that's why in the Bible a lot of things have to do with Jewish culture. Even when we thinking in the term of second coming of God is almost happen the way that Jewish wedding arrangement like.
well, we cannot deny that we live by culture. But we always need to know that not all culture is correct, acceptable, and right according to the words of God. Even in some Jewish culture too, that Jesus tried to fight with the Jewish leader that is not the words of God. It's just Jewish culture.
Can it be Jewish culture more like culture of God? That's why even the second coming of Christ of God is the way it happened, almost like is it a Jewish adopt from God or God adopt from Jewish in terms of writing about the second coming of Christ?
Well, the one who see the vision is the Jewish guy.
Okay.
So everything he see it through the Jewish lens.
Okay.
So that's how he explained to us. And God need to make him understand through the Jewish culture so he can explain to us. So if God talk to you in African language, what the use?
Well, that's the whole reason we have to adapt to the culture of where we are.
But we still need to make a difference between what is God or biblical or Bible, and some is not, cannot acceptable too. So it's like a lens that we use, but we need to be careful. Like whatever you put in your eye, you see the color, like black, yellow, red, or anything. We have to be careful too. Okay, at least we find out something that in theory it looks good, but in practical way it's almost impossible, even for ourselves. So this is how we try to find out what is the future church can do. And especially for all of us, we are small churches. How are we going to survive? How are we going to adjust? The easy answer always say that, well, I don't want to think, I don't want to involve, I don't want to worry. That's the easy way to say. But I don't think that we should do nothing. If we can do something, we should do. So this class will help us to think and to look at the future in different way. To look at the option that other people try and fail. Why we learn about their failure? Well, so we know that why they fail. We learn about their success to see that why, what make them successful. I don't mean that you can copy them and make yourself successful. No, it won't happen that way. But at least we know how they do it. You know that the most famous church in modern day is Rick Warren Church. And people from all over the world to take class with him, try to copy him, and take the idea all over the world. But most of them fail. Why? Because first, they are not Rick Warren. Secondly, the church is not Rick Warren Church. Third, the people is not Rick Warren people. So it means that you can go and learn from all the successful people, but you still need to adjust to make it work with your own situation. I told every generation of students that Rick Warren started here at Bay Area, at Golden Gate Seminary. He born and grew up here. And his dad is a student from campus and worked on campus. His dad started a church here in the Bay Area. And his dad's pastored so many years, and his dad church never get more than 50 people. And he helped his dad from the beginning. He tried everything, but none of them worked in the Bay Area. So he quit church and run for business and try politics, do everything, but not so successful. Finally, he answered God's call, but he said he won't come to Golden Gate. He went to Southwestern. When he graduated, he said he won't come back to the Bay Area. He go to Southern California, to Orange County, the most conservative county in California, that people go to church. Everyone there go to church. His dad worked 40 years with 50 members. When he go to knock door and invite people, his first month he have more than 200 people come to his church, because that is the area that everyone go to church. And from that day on, he built a 20,000 congregation in Southern California. And our president here tell Rick Warren, come back to help us. we want our students to copy you and work here in the Bay Area. Rick Warren said it will not work here. He tried already. But the president said, come send your disciple here to teach us. So we give him 50 students and try to start 5 Rick Warren church in the Bay Area. We copy everything from him. But Golden Gate moved away. And all those student church, I think most of them corrupt. Why? Because everyone who go to that churches are students, their family, professor, their family, staff from Golden Gate and family. So maybe up to 90-something% of people who sit there in those churches come from seminary. Barely any local. And when the seminary closed down, all those work die with them. Because all the students gone, all the family gone, all the staff gone, all the professor gone. So what that mean? It worked with Rick Warren over there, but they don't work here with the people in the Bay Area.
I have question regarding to Rick Warren's church.
Yes.
Is he just collect those people who already gone to church and come into his church, or he invite new non-believer come in?
A lot of people who go to a church are the Christians who go to different churches. And I say that is the county that most conservative in California. It means that a lot of people already go to church. And a lot of churches down there are big already.
Does it have to do with the people already tuned to what they want to believe?
Mm-hmm.
And just like California gonna be California regarding what people other places say about it.
Mm. So now people find out the theory is not about you or your technique. It's just where you go. I don't mean that what you do mean nothing or what you teach mean nothing, but the people that you work with mean a lot.
Can it be just like the seed falling onto the wherever that surrounding environment?
You're right. Jesus preached that sermon. The same seed, but will have different fruit because
Right.
where they fall.
Yes, because of the location.
Mm. Well, like a real estate broker say, location, location, location. It still means a lot. That we cannot deny that.
It will take God act for Bay Area to turn back to God, Ajahn.
Yeah, people always joke that this is the headquarters of Satan in America.
It's a revival, and Bay Area need to pray for Californian. Most of the Californian need a revival.
Well, some area of California is doing pretty well. Like in Southern California, it's a lot better than Northern California.
Is it much Christian in California minority? Well, it's minority everywhere, doesn't it?
Well, not in the South. In the South, Christian is a big majority. In America.
That's one thing when I came to Memphis, the impression is that every corner of the block, there's a church. And not only a church, it's a humongous church. I go, how do they pay for this?
Well, I went to preach in Texas. And even in the rural small town, church everywhere. And on Sunday, the whole town closed down, everyone at church. It's unbelievable. Okay, let me go back to the lecture to finish it, and we can come back. Now, on another section, we talk about the mistake or the fall that multicultural movement facing in America. This idea comes from many people who try, some famous preacher or people who study about the movement, multicultural, the church that try to reach out to every group of people in America. Some of them fail. At first, it looked like they're successful, but after a few years, they corrupt. Why? Well, let's find out some of them. Here, if I can pinpoint some of what they reflect. First, the leadership not get enough training. They just have a dream. They just have a will. They want to do it, but they don't know what to do it. Or the leadership team don't know what they're going to do. They just have the will, but don't have knowledge. So they try to learn by trying, and they fail. So they say that you cannot learn by working. You need to start learning before you start. You can learn something while you're working, but you need to get some basic idea before you start. What kind of basic idea you need to have? First, it's not easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a big challenge, but a lot of people are not prepared for that. They think it's an easy job. Invite people from every group to join together, and they will love one another. No, it won't work that way. It's just in that dream that everyone who walk into church will love one another. No. And that reality that they found out too late. And what else? Everyone who come to church come with baggage, mean that they have history, they have problem. And when you're not ready to deal with that, well, people say nobody ready. We just depend on God, yes. But in the same time, all your team need to prepare to deal with all kind of situation. When you're not prepared at all the leadership will fall down and give up. When the leadership give up, all the work gone. So you see that the leadership, the team that start and run the group, the work need to be educated and prepare well enough for all the different situations, all kind of people that you will face. A lot of people just come with a good heart and think that everything going to be smooth and easy. But in fact, it is not. Okay, this is the picture that I get from that book to show you. Well, we start with one leader, and you have a team. We call them person of peace. And these people will reach out to their family, their friend. You see that a couple, or at least a team, and you bring more people, build more group that you connected with. So these two people need to have a good training so they can multiply. They can bring their friend and family. Without this couple who get a good training, you won't have this group. So these two responsible for this big team that he built or they built. And this team will bring people here and make a church. This is a small cell. It means that if you make more of this couple, you can have bigger group. So you see how many family he bring to. He reach out to many people and make them together. If you have many people who work with you at a team, you can have bigger group. But you see, they say that a couple can reach out and take care not more than 10 group, 10 people or 10 family, the maximum. If you just have two, you can expect that he can reach out taking care of not more than 10 people or 10 family maximum. So if you want bigger group, you need more couple, need more teamwork to help you reach out. You cannot expect two people to reach out to hundreds of people or take care of hundreds of people. Impossible. They say that 10 maximum. This is the theory. And if you have more of people that you train to work with you as a team, you can reach out to more people. And where you go out to reach people? Well, all the minority live in group in the village of, well, I use the word village. It just means that they concentrate on certain block of the city. Like this is all the Mian group live in this area in the few block. All this group of Lao people will live in a few block of this area. That 50 years ago. But nowadays you see that people spread out more now, especially the second generation. They spread out more and wide, and that's more difficult to reach out now. So we talk about that, how to reach out to young second, third generation when they spread out more far. It's more difficult now. But still, they still concentrate not far away that they cannot come back. So they say that how you build relationship, well, you have a lot of opportunity because many cultures still strong enough. They still get together from time to time. And that's the chance you can join them, to know them, and work with them. It doesn't mean that they completely become American and separate themselves from their family completely. No. Most Asian or ethnic groups still have connection with their first generation or their parent generation or grandparent generation. So there's still hope to build relationship and to reach out to them. Okay, this is some idea. So that to get us some idea how to work with our church for the future. Young people still want to come back because if you have a strong culture, but you need to give them an opportunity, the chance. You might be surprised that they try American church and they know that it's not for them. A lot of them want to come back, but you need to make them welcome and give them what they need to build a group in your church. I want you to share, you think that if you give your second, third generation a chance to come back and give them all what they need, you think they will come back?
Of course, they will come back, Ajahn.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of them will come back.
They will come back, and the best part is need to empower them.
Mhm.
Because I think it's hard for Asian culture to empower the young. Because Asian culture believe in seniority.
But we need to learn the Christian way. We need to pass on the power.
Right.
I know it's tough because old generation don't want to give away the power.
Plus, need to trust them. Need to trust them because they're not going to be right all the time, but at least they start the seed and then as they grow, the Holy Spirit will take over and guide them.
Yeah, do you think why a lot of Asian old generation don't want to share or give power to young generation?
It's culture, อาจารย์
I found out that a lot of old people feel that they will lose their identity. They are nobody.
Yeah. But that's a dying way though.
Well, that's why they want to die with everything they have.
Is it true in China culture that if they have a cooking recipe, it's so good, they rather keep it secretly to the point that when they die, nobody know.
You're right.
It's the same thing.
Yep. You know that they have a lot of secret and they never share. And all the secret die with them. You know that the Chinese is the first one who know how to make bomb. They never share. The Chinese is the one who know how to make printing. The Western know to print any book printing shop in the 16th century. The Chinese do it in first, second century. But they never share, never tell anyone.
That's why, John, the gunpowder,
Yeah.
they don't know how to use for the bullet shooting, and then they just make it cracker, whatever. But the Westerner adopted and then to become a powerful, but missile, gun, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
think
believe that the our culture sometimes why the young kid they don't want to continue to get together 1 or 20%, they're thinking because you know what, they still can continue to do it, we don't need to worry about it. That's why they don't train the youngster and then they don't pass on. And the youngster said, yeah, they still keep doing and then we just forget it. That's why I believe one of that about 20%.
I think we need to learn how to share power or share with them what we have and let them take over some.
But if they don't want it, what can you do, อาจารย์
Well, because we never share, we never offer, we never try, because it's against our culture. So why not? At least we
That
try.
doesn't have to do with the culture and belief. Just like when we talk about China, their belief is if a gunpowder, they believe it's some kind of supernatural instead of scientists. And also the religious of China is a belief in supernatural, which is make it even harder for them to become a scientist back then.
Well, it's all power.
It's all
And you don't want to share your power.
yeah, okay.
Ajahn, let's see. Doing the this way, how about the government control, Lou? Like before the American first come to the U.S., first come to the United States, and then when they go to school, they should pray first. All the thing we have to have the religion first. So how's that? If we going back that maybe all the youngster they get the basic and then they might not forget and then they might continue to grow.
Well, American come too far to go back to the basic of Bible. But we have option or the Christian school if we can do a good job.
but they don't want to go.
Mm,
Well, the way is this: you need to vote.
mm,
You need to vote so that way Republican been try to give the right to the parent so they can take the money wherever the student go.
yeah, if they allow the parent to take money with them now, Christian school will grow so
That's
much.
right. But you need to vote.
Mhm.
They're trying to give the money go with the student, not where the zip code is. So
Mm,
that way anybody can choose private school, public school, whatever.
well, that's another option.
So, Ajahn, I've been out in Thailand for a long time, but I don't know what they still doing like before. Back in about 40 years ago, when we go to the class, we have to pray the monk first or no more?
Or still in Thailand,
They
you
still
still
do
need to
it?
pray. Yeah.
Oh, see how that government control, and then that's why see the Thai people they hardly to become Christian, just only less than 1%.
Mhm.
Maybe that is the point. Maybe Christians should have that, same thing like Buddhists.
Mm. Yeah, at least give the freedom to the student. Okay, you have any more suggestion for this class?